My landlord framed me for a multi-million-dollar identity theft ring, so I exposed him and watched the prison door close behind him. But just a month later, someone else came knocking to finish what he started. I was living in my car when I saw the Craigslist ad. 400-month furnished room, all utilities included. In a city where even a closet runs you wanting 200, it sounded like a scam, but when you've been showering at the gym for 3 weeks straight, anything sounds promising. Marcus, the landlord, met me at a coffee shop. He looked harmless, mid-50s, friendly, could have been anyone's dad. I don't need the money, he said. Just want someone reliable. No credit check, no references. Cash works. I travel a lot. Just need someone to accept some packages. Different names, they're business partners. Just stack them in the garage. The room was clean. Queen bed, private bathroom, even a mini fridge. I finally had an address to put on job applications. 3 days in, packages started piling up. FedEx, UPS, unmarked vans. All labeled for names I didn't recognize. Mike Hawk, Ahmad Hassan, Robert Torres. Never me, never Marcus. 2 days later, someone banged on my door. It was a woman in a panic. Is Marcus here? My son ordered 1 laptop for his daughter. How does that turn into a $5,000 debt? She held out a receipt, my apartment number, a package I had signed for. They said if he doesn't pay, he'll be reported for theft. He's on parole. I tried to explain. I just signed for packages. But she took a step back and looked at me like she already knew. Oh, honey, you have no idea what you've gotten into. Be careful! That night, I texted my friend Sarah and told her everything. She called me instantly. Get out, now! I hesitated. Why? My ex went down for this exact thing. It's a reshipping scam. The goods are stolen. They send them to people like you. You're the one on camera. You'll take the hit. Something in my gut told me she was right. But I was afraid to let go of the one thing that finally felt like stability. The next morning, I noticed cameras. High-end ones. Watching the garage, the driveway, my door. Not a single one pointed at the main house. Just me. That's when it hit me. I looked like the one running the whole thing. I was signing for everything, and my name was on the lease. I started Googling the names on the packages. Ahmad Hassan came up first, arrested for major identity theft. My stomach dropped. Then Marcus texted, gone for 2 weeks. Big deliveries incoming. Keep stacking. I panicked. I had nothing but my word and a shady lease. Who would believe a homeless girl suddenly had money and packages flooding in every day? Then I remembered. The smart doorbell. He installed it when I moved in, gave me the app login. I started digging through footage. 2 weeks back, I saw her. Another tenant. Young. Nervous. I don't want to do this anymore, she said. Marcus replied, then move out. But your name's on everything. She left the next day. 4 tenants. 4 months. All desperate. All vanished within weeks. And then I found the clip. Marcus on the phone. Yeah, the last one went to the cops. Good thing we moved everything. He looked unstable, no proof, still spent 2 nights in jail. I was shaking. This wasn't random. It was a system. Rotate in people with nothing to lose, pin the blame on them, disappear before the fallout. I had days, maybe hours, before I became the next unstable tenant. I saved everything. Downloaded footage, photographed every label, every package. I found a legal aid lawyer. I expected her to brush it off. Instead, she turned pale. This is federal, she said. We're calling the FBI. Next morning, I walked into their office with a USB drive. The agent listened quietly until I said the name Marcus. You're describing David Park, he said. We've been chasing him for months. He's pulled this in at least 6 cities. They caught him at the airport 2 days later with 4 fake IDs heading to Portland. The garage held $2 million worth of stolen goods. He got 15 years, federal time, bail set at $600,000. But someone paid it. And just like that, he was free again. And now he was after me. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every sound made my skin crawl. Around midnight, Sarah begged me to come stay with her. I said no. I wasn't done gathering evidence. The next morning, while packing my things into garbage bags, I kept my eyes on the doorbell cam. 3 months of peace, gone. Back to sleeping in my car. Then my phone buzzed. Motion detected. It was him, David Park, standing at my door, hands in his pockets, looking straight into the camera, smiling, waving, then walking away. I called the FBI. He's not supposed to contact you, the agent said. Keep documenting. We'll send someone. But David was smarter than that. He never came back. Instead, things started happening. Next morning, flat tire. Then another. Mechanic found nails, deliberately placed. I missed my interview, called to reschedule. The tone changed. Cold, hesitant. "We received some troubling information regarding your background," she said. "We've decided to move forward with another candidate." My stomach dropped. "What information?" I asked. "I'm not at liberty to discuss that." Click. It kept happening. 3 more job rejections. Each time, the same story. Until one manager forwarded me an anonymous email accusing me of being under federal investigation for mail fraud and money laundering. It was from a generic Gmail. No trace, no name, just sabotage. Sarah drove me to the bank so I could pull out what little savings I had left. But the teller frowned at her screen. "I'm sorry. Your account has been flagged for suspicious activity. It's been frozen pending review." "What kind of activity?" I asked, my voice rising. "There have been multiple fraud alerts. You'll need to speak to our fraud department." They told me it would take 30 days to investigate. 30 days without access to my own money. I had $47 in my wallet, and a car with 4 flat tires. Sarah didn't flinch. "You're moving in with me. Today." The next week at her place was a blur of paranoia. Every sound outside made me jump. The FBI was still investigating, but they admitted they had no direct link to David. "He's careful," the agent told me. "Nothing we can pin on him. Yet." Then the packages started arriving. At Sarah's building. Not her unit, just the lobby. Random names. Michelle Rodriguez, Jennifer Chen. The building manager flagged them. "These people don't live here," he said, confused. But we knew. David was trying to recreate the scam and make it look like we were behind it. Sarah had enough. She picked up every box and drove straight to the FBI field office. "He's trying to frame us," she said, dropping them on the desk. The agent sighed. "We know, but proving it is another matter." That night, I kept thinking about the doorbell footage. David had done this for years. He couldn't have done it alone. Someone had to help. Someone tech-savvy. Someone who could forge identities, reroute deliveries, erase tracks. I went back through the footage, watching, searching, and then I saw him. A younger man, maybe early 30s. He was there in several clips, always arriving with David, always staying in the car. In one clip from 5 months ago, David called out to him, "Ryan, grab the scanner from the trunk." Ryan. I had a name. I spent hours scouring social media, comparing timestamps and faces, and I found him. Ryan Park, David's younger brother, works at a tech firm downtown. Sarah thought I was losing it. "You can't just confront him." "I have to. The FBI's not moving fast enough." The next day, I waited near Ryan's office, watched him walk out for lunch. My hands were shaking when I finally approached. "Ryan Park?" He turned, confused. Then he recognized me, and all the color drained from his face. "You're the girl from the house. We need to talk." He tried to walk away. "Your brother is destroying my life. My accounts are frozen. I've lost jobs. I don't know what you're talking about," he said, but his voice cracked and his hands were trembling. "I have footage of you, at the property. The FBI has it too." He stopped, turned to face me. "You don't understand," he whispered. "I can't. He's my brother. And he's making you part of this." Ryan exhaled, shoulders slumping. He said it'd be easy, just tech stuff. Some rerouting, some fake accounts. I didn't know what he was really doing. Not at first. "But you know now." He nodded, miserably. I tried to walk away. He wouldn't let me. Says we're in too deep. That if I talk, I go down too. He's not the same since prison. Meaner, paranoid. He blames everyone else. Ryan looked around, nervous. "I shouldn't even be talking to you. He's going to pin all of this on you and Sarah." "Then help me stop him." Ryan paused, then finally spoke. "There's a storage unit. He keeps records there. Everything. He calls it insurance, just in case one of the tenants talks. It's all there. 5 years worth." He gave me the address, the unit number. "But you didn't hear it from me, and you need to be careful. He usually checks it once a month, on the 15th. That's in 3 days." That night, Sarah and I drove to the facility. My fingers shook as I punched in the code. The lock clicked open. Inside were boxes, piles of them. Fake IDs, shipping records, rental agreements, 7 folders, each with a different name. 7 people like me. One folder was thicker than the others. Maria Santos. I opened it and felt my stomach drop. Newspaper clippings. Local woman dies in single car crash. The date? 2 weeks after she moved out. Sarah grabbed my arm. We need to call the FBI now. But I couldn't stop reading. Brake failure. Suspicious circumstances. A handwritten note at the bottom of one document. Problem resolved. D. He called her, I whispered. She was going to testify, and he silenced her. We photographed everything, every file, every ID. And then I saw something that stopped my heart. A folder labeled Martin Webb. Inside was a death certificate, dated 5 years ago. But the photo? David Park. He faked his own death. He'd been breathing under a dead man's name, and that's why the FBI couldn't catch him. David Park didn't exist anymore. He was Martin Webb, officially deceased for 5 years. Sarah and I froze as we heard footsteps pass by the storage unit. A shadow moved across the door. We held our breath until it was gone. We need to go, she whispered. We carefully put everything back exactly as we found it and slipped into the car. I dialed the FBI agent immediately. David Park is really Martin Webb. He faked his death to dodge charges, and I think he had something to do with Maria Santos's death. Where did this info come from? I hesitated. An anonymous tip. She sighed. That's not admissible. We need legally obtained evidence. Then get a warrant. Unit 247. Secure store on Madison. He comes on the 15th. I hung up and sent Ryan a text. Thank you. Get somewhere safe. His reply came quickly. He knows something's off. He's asking questions. I'm scared. I showed Sarah the screen. We need to protect him. He's the only one who can testify from inside. If he cooperates, the FBI will take him in, she said. But I wasn't so sure. David had already proven what he was capable of doing when people became liabilities. The next morning, Ryan called. His voice shook. He wants to meet tonight. Says there's a new tenant coming. He knows, I said. If I don't show, it'll confirm everything. Maybe I can record him. Get something solid. Ryan, it's too risky. I'm done living scared. If I get the proof, will you get it to the FBI? I agreed. Carefully, nervously. He said he'd wear a recorder. The meeting was set for 8 p.m., a warehouse David used to store packages. Sarah and I parked across the street, watching. Ryan's car pulled in slowly. He waited, then got out. We saw David inside through a window, talking. Ryan looked tense, but he was keeping his cool. Then David pulled out a folder, showed him something. Ryan shook his head, stepped back. David grabbed him by the shirt. That's when we heard the sirens. David's head snapped to the window. He shoved Ryan, hard. Ryan fell backward, hit the edge of a concrete block. David ran. I jumped out of the car and sprinted toward the warehouse. Call 911, I yelled to Sarah. Ryan's down. David burst through the exit just as the FBI car screeched into the lot. He saw me, and for a second I thought he'd charge. His face twisted with rage. Then he turned and bolted. I dropped beside Ryan. Blood trickled from his forehead. Did you get it? I asked. He weakly pulled a recorder from his jacket pocket. All of it. Names. The fake ID. What he did to Maria. The FBI took the recorder while paramedics treated Ryan. David vanished, but his car was found 2 blocks away, abandoned. He won't get far, the agent told me. With this kind of evidence, we'll bring him in. But I didn't feel safe. Not yet. David knew where Sarah lived. He knew my car, my patterns. Until they had cuffs on his wrists, he was a threat. They moved us to a hotel, FBI protection detail. Ryan spent the night in the hospital but would recover. He agreed to testify in exchange for immunity. I just want to be done, he told me when I visited. I want to live without looking over my shoulder. I knew that feeling too well. 3 days later, David slipped up. Tried to send a massive shipment of stolen electronics to my old workplace. Same tactic, hoping to frame me again. But I'd already warned security. They flagged the order. The shipping account traced to a new fake ID. That led agents to the one place he thought they'd never look. His elderly mother's house. He was hiding in the basement. This time, no bail. The judge declared him a flight risk and a threat to witnesses. During the trial, everything unraveled. 7 known victims, millions in stolen merchandise. And Maria Santos, silenced after she tried to go to the authorities. David, Martin Webb, was sentenced to 25 years in federal prison. No parole, No second chances. As they walked him out, he locked eyes with me. Hatred. Pure and sharp. I shivered. But it didn't matter. He was done. Ryan testified. He laid out the entire operation. How the shipping worked, the forged documents, the rotating victims. Thanks to him, the FBI contacted others who had disappeared in silence, too afraid to come forward until now. The restitution fund helped me restart. Not a jackpot, but enough for a decent apartment, a reliable car, and a little time to breathe again while job hunting. Sarah stayed by my side through it all. I owe her more than I can put into words. And Ryan? He lost a brother. But he gained a clean start. He'd tried to ruin me, but 6 months later I had something he never expected. Peace. I was working at a nonprofit that helped homeless youth find safe housing. After everything I'd lived through, I could spot a scam from a mile away. I'd turned my worst chapter into purpose. I still flinched when unfamiliar packages showed up, still checked over my shoulder in empty parking lots. But I wasn't sleeping in my car anymore. I wasn't rinsing shampoo out of my hair in public sinks. I'd survived him. David Park, Martin Webb, whoever he really was. The other day, a young woman walked into our office. She looked how I must have looked back then. Exhausted, desperate, hopeful. She'd been living in her car, applying to jobs, looking for anything. I helped her fill out forms for housing assistance and watched her fight back tears as we hit submit. Be careful out there, I said. If something seems too good to be true. She nodded. But I recognized that look in her eyes. The same one I had when I ignored every red flag. Desperation can silence even the loudest warning signs. I couldn't undo what happened to me, but I could make sure she got real help. Real safety. No predators hiding behind smiles and $400 rooms. Because that's what David was. A predator. A man who hunted vulnerability and turned fear into currency. And I wasn't his prey anymore. But freedom has a fragile edge. 2 weeks after the trial, strange things started happening. Posts I didn't make showed up on my social media. Old photos from my homeless days. Captions like, "Miss this lifestyle" and "Maybe it's time to go back." Friends messaged me, confused, concerned. I deleted the posts, changed every password, but it was already out there. The next morning, my supervisor called me in. She held a folder of screenshots. "Some of our donors have expressed concern," she said gently, "about your online presence." I was hacked, I told her. "I believe you," she said, but I could see hesitation in her eyes. "The board is nervous. Maybe it's best if you take some time off. Unpaid, for now." I walked to my car feeling like the floor had opened beneath me. Just when I'd climbed out, someone was trying to drag me back down. Then I saw it. A manila envelope tucked beneath my windshield wiper. No return address. Inside, printed photos. Me, sleeping in my car, washing up at the gym. Shots no one should have had. A typed message on plain white paper. These could be everywhere. My hands trembled as I called the FBI. The agent sounded exhausted. "Unless we can prove it's linked to David's operation, there's not much we can do." "He's in prison," I said. "But someone out here knows his methods. Someone is still using his playbook." "We'll look into it," she promised. But her voice didn't sound hopeful. I drove straight to see Ryan at his new job. He'd started fresh at a smaller tech firm after the trial. When I showed him the photos, his face went pale. "These were in the storage unit," he whispered. "David saved everything, said it was leverage in case someone talked." "Who else had access?" Ryan looked uneasy. "He mentioned someone once. A partner. Someone who helped him set up his fake death." I never got a name. I pressed. "Anything. Anything at all." "He took a call once," Ryan said. "Mentioned meeting at the old Riverside warehouse. That's all I remember." The Riverside district. Empty lots, broken windows, graffiti, and silence. The kind of place people forget about until it's too late. I should have called the FBI, but they'd already been too slow before. Sarah refused to let me go alone. "If they're watching you," she said, "they're watching us now." That evening, we drove the perimeter. Most buildings looked abandoned, but behind one, we spotted it. A newer sedan, parked like it didn't belong. Fresh tire tracks in the dirt. We parked a block away and crept closer. Inside, through a broken window, we saw light. An office. 2 voices echoed through the empty space. I hit record on my phone. A woman's voice, calm and sharp. "She's more resilient than expected. We need to escalate." My blood went cold. A man replied, David always said she was the clever one. Should have handled her differently. The woman scoffed. He got sloppy. I won't. We push her back to the streets, make her desperate. Desperate people make mistakes. Sarah squeezed my arm. Through another window we saw them. Stacks of boxes, shipping labels. The same setup David used. Same fraud. New victims. We began to back away, but Sarah's foot hit a rusted piece of metal. It clanged across the concrete. Silence. Then, footsteps. The office door slammed open. Hey! We ran. Lights flared behind us. The sedan roared to life. Sarah's keys were already in hand. The engine screamed as she hit the gas. They were behind us, closing in. And I knew in that moment, it wasn't over. Sarah took a sharp right, then another, trying to lose them in the maze of streets. My phone rang. Unknown number. Against every instinct, I picked up. You should have stayed quiet, said a cold female voice. Now you'll find out what happens to people who don't mind their business. Click. We'd shaken the car behind us, but we both knew that wouldn't last. They'd find us again. Sarah didn't hesitate. Straight to the nearest police station. But the officers didn't buy it. Let me get this straight. You think someone connected to a convicted felon is stalking you? Based on what exactly? We played the audio, but the voices were too faint, too distorted. They shrugged. Come back with something solid. That was it. No protection, no case. The next morning my phone buzzed. My landlord. I've received complaints, he said. Package deliveries at all hours. Strange visitors. I can't have this tied to my property. That's not true. I can explain. My decision's made. You have 30 days. I hung up, numb, surrounded by boxes. It was happening again. But this time I knew. It wasn't coincidence. Someone was deliberately tearing down my life, step by step, using the same tactics David had mastered. Ryan texted. They came to my office, asking about you. HR's involved. I think I'm going to be fired. My stomach sank. Ryan had already risked everything. Now he was being targeted too. We met at a coffee shop. He looked exhausted. They're saying I'm a security risk because of my testimony. I've been placed on leave. I'm so sorry, I said. This is all my fault. No, he said. This is David's fault, and whoever's continuing his work. He slid a piece of paper across the table. I found something last night. One name stood out. Victoria Chen. She helped David create the Martin Webb identity. My heart jumped. Who is she? High-end document forger. Chinatown. Fake identities. Passports. The full kit. If she's coming after you, it's to protect her business. If David's whole operation gets exposed, her clients vanish. So she's tying off loose ends. That night, Sarah and I started digging. But Victoria was a ghost. No website, no public profile. Just quiet mentions in sealed court records, always referenced, never charged. She was careful. But someone in the shadows always left a trace. Then my phone buzzed again. An email. The nonprofit had restructured. I was let go. No warning. No severance. Victoria had reached them too. Sarah grabbed my hand. We'll figure this out. But I could see the fear in her eyes. Her landlord had already called about concerning activity. They weren't just targeting me anymore. They were erasing my support system. Next morning, my car wouldn't start. Sugar in the gas tank. The mechanic gave me a quote, $3,000. I didn't have it, and even if I did, my bank accounts were still frozen. While I was sitting there, Ryan called. His voice was frantic. They fired me. Security escorted me out, said I was stealing internal data. What? I never touched anything. But files appeared overnight on my work account, ones I've never even opened. Fabricated evidence. Digital sabotage. Victoria wasn't just cleaning up. She was setting up. Maria Santos died in a car crash after she tried to speak out. Now I had to wonder, was that Victoria's work too? Sarah picked me up from the mechanics. We need to flip the game, she said. Go after her before she erases everything. The FBI won't help without proof, so let's get it. It was reckless, dangerous, but what choice did we have? That night we drove to Chinatown. Following vague leads and whispered warnings, 3 people claimed they'd never heard of Victoria. The 4th, a quiet elderly shop owner, froze when we said her name, then softly muttered, "You girls should go home. Some questions are dangerous." But his eyes flicked toward a windowed building across the street. 2nd floor. No signs. just mirrored glass. We waited until nightfall. The building had a back entrance. The lock was already broken. Heart pounding, we crept up the stairs. Most of the offices were dark, but one had light under the door. No sign, just frosted glass. I leaned close. Voices, muffled. Inside. Sarah motioned toward another door, slightly ajar. A supply room. It connected to the lit office by an interior window. We slipped in. Inside, we could see her. Victoria Chen. Younger than I expected. Mid-30s. Sharp. Polished. Dead calm. She was on the phone, pacing. No, the timeline moved up. The girl found the warehouse. She paused. Yes, I know what David promised you, but David's in federal lockup. Fine, tomorrow night. But this is the last time. Then she dialed another number. It's me. Accelerate everything. Clear the warehouse. Tonight. And find the girl. She's more than a nuisance now. In the dark room, my phone buzzed. The glowing screen lit up like a spotlight. Victoria stopped mid-sentence. Her head turned, eyes locked on the window. The door creaked open. Hold on, Victoria said into the phone. I think someone's here. Footsteps moved closer. Sarah and I pressed ourselves against the wall, barely breathing. Then the door swung fully open, light pouring into the dark storage room. Victoria stood in the doorway, phone still in hand, calm as ever. I know you're in there, she said evenly. Might as well come out. We had a choice, run or confront her. I stepped into the light. Victoria Chen didn't flinch. Persistent, she said. David warned me about you. David's in prison. For now, she replied coolly. You cost me a very profitable arrangement. Do you have any idea how much you've taken from me? You're destroying people's lives. She gave a short, humorless laugh. People? You mean the ones desperate enough to take an obviously illegal deal? You all made your choices. Maria Santos didn't choose to die. Something flickered behind her eyes, a crack in the calm. That was David's call, sloppy. I prefer cleaner solutions, like destroying your reputation, getting you fired. Works, doesn't it? In a few weeks, you'll be back where you started. And no one listens to people who don't have homes. You'll just be another voice on a corner claiming conspiracy. Sarah stepped out beside me. The FBI knows about you. We have proof. Victoria smiled, amused. No, you don't. If they knew, they'd be here. Instead, it's just two amateurs playing detective. She moved toward her desk, slow, casual, but deliberate. Her hand drifted toward a drawer. Go, I whispered. We bolted. Behind us, Victoria called out, voice steady, almost taunting. Running won't help! I'll find you! We flew down the stairs, out into the night, hearts pounding. I called the FBI from the street, fingers trembling. This time I have a name, a location, and a threat. Victoria Chen. She's running what's left of David's operation. She threatened us directly. Where are you? The agent asked. I gave the location. She's destroying evidence as we speak. We're dispatching units. Get somewhere safe. We drove to a 24-hour diner, parked ourselves in the back corner booth. The neon lights buzzed above us. Every door chime sent our nerves into overdrive. The call came an hour later. The office was empty, the agent said. No sign of Victoria Chen. According to the building manager, it's been vacant for months. I didn't need to hear more. Victoria was gone. Again. They promised to keep investigating, but I knew the truth. She was too smart, too quick, and she just won another round. Then Sarah's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. You have 48 hours to leave town. Both of you. Or what happened to Maria happens to you. We turned it over to the FBI, but the number was untraceable. Again. They offered us temporary protection, but even they knew it wouldn't last. Not against someone like her. The next morning, Ryan called, his voice tight, scared. I need to see you. Both of you. Now! We met in a crowded park. Plenty of people around. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. They came to my place last night, he said. 2 men. Said they worked for someone very disappointed in me. What did they want? They told me to recant. Say I lied about everything. That you manipulated me. If I do, they'll fix my reputation. Give me a better job than before. And if you don't? He didn't answer. Just showed us a photo on his phone, his mother's house. They knew exactly where to hit. They gave me 24 hours. Victoria wasn't just after us now. She was targeting everyone we loved. We have to stop her, I said. How? Ryan asked. She's like smoke. We get close, she disappears. But I was already thinking. Her call. The line that stuck with me. Tomorrow night. One last delivery. We had one shot. I have a plan, I said. But it's risky, and we'll need help. We huddled around a diner napkin as I laid it out, step by step. Dangerous? Yes. Possibly illegal? Maybe. But we were out of time. If we do this, Ryan said quietly, there's no turning back. There is no turning back, Sarah replied. She's already burned our lives down. Now it's her turn. We spent the day preparing. Ryan set up remote recording equipment, wireless mics, cloud backups, redundancy. Sarah stocked the car with supplies, just in case. I called the FBI, trying to get units on standby without revealing too much. By nightfall, we were parked blocks from the same warehouse, the one Victoria had used before. The lot looked abandoned, but fresh tire tracks glistened under the streetlights. We moved on foot. Ryan covered the rear entrance. Sarah waited near the car, phone in hand, ready to call backup. I slipped inside through the same broken window. It was quiet, but not empty. Boxes were stacked from floor to ceiling, labeled and ready for shipping. In the office, papers were strewn across a desk. Manifests, name lists, IDs, bigger than David's setup had ever been. I took photos, uploaded everything in real time to cloud storage. If they caught me, the evidence wouldn't die with me. Then, down the hallway, I heard footsteps. Car doors slammed outside. I ducked behind a stack of boxes as the warehouse door creaked open. Victoria walked in, flanked by two men. One of them I recognized from the files in David's storage unit. Another former victim who had flipped, now working as muscle. Everything ready for transport? She asked. Loaded and ready. Portland's expecting us tomorrow. Portland. They were expanding. New cities, new victims. The cycle would begin again. And our problem? She asked, almost lazily. The brothers agreed to cooperate. The other two will be taken care of tonight. My stomach turned. They were planning to eliminate us. Tonight. I stayed frozen, barely breathing, as Victoria walked to the desk, casually flipping through papers. Shame about the girl, she said with a smirk. David always said she was too smart for her own good. Should have just disappeared like the others. One of the men asked, Want us to make it look like an accident? Like the Santos woman? Victoria didn't flinch. Double suicide. Two desperate friends. Overwhelmed by their circumstances. Tragic. But believable. They discussed our deaths like they were ordering dinner. But I had what we needed. Every word recorded. This was it. Then my phone vibrated. I'd forgotten to shut it off completely. The hum was deafening in the silence. Victoria's head snapped up. What was that? The men started moving. I pressed back into the shadows, heart hammering. There was nowhere to go. Closer, closer. Then a crash at the far end of the warehouse. Ryan, drawing them away. The men bolted toward the sound, leaving Victoria alone. She pulled out her phone. We've got intruders. Send everyone, now. I had to move, fast. She was summoning reinforcements. Another bang from the side of the building. Sarah. Victoria cursed and turned toward the sound. The path to the door was clear. I ran. She shouted something behind me, her footsteps following. I burst through the exit and sprinted into the night. Ryan emerged from the shadows just as Sarah's car came skidding around the corner. We dove inside. Then, the sharp crack of gunfire. The rear window exploded. Go! I yelled. Sarah floored it, tires screaming. Another shot. We tore down the street, adrenaline blurring everything. In the rearview mirror, I saw Victoria, standing in the warehouse doorway, calm as ever, phone pressed to her ear. She wasn't chasing us, she was making calls. Did you get it? Sarah shouted. I checked my phone. All of it. Every word. Photos, video, audio. Her talking about the murders, the framing, the expansion. Ryan was already uploading everything. FBI, news outlets, even social media. If they're going to come after us, he said, the world's going to know why. My phone rang. The FBI. We got a report of shots fired at the Riverside warehouse. Where are you now? She's there. Victoria Chen. She's behind all of it. We just sent everything. Get to the federal building immediately. We'll protect you. But even as Sarah raced through the city, I knew this wasn't over. Victoria had slipped through too many times. She had resources, connections. She wasn't done. Sure enough, by the time agents reached the warehouse, it was stripped clean. Like Chinatown. Gone. Victoria Chen had vanished again. But this time, we had proof. The FBI acted fast. They raided every location connected to the shipping manifests, arrested dozens of accomplices, and most importantly, they found survivors, victims who'd been trapped in her network, people who were still waiting for help that never came. Until now, Victoria's empire had collapsed, but she was still missing. 1 week later, we sat in protective custody, flipping through mugshots, giving statements, helping investigators build the full case. It was bigger than any of us had imagined. 15 cities, hundreds of victims, over 7 years. She took over the moment David was locked up, the agent told us. Improved his operation. More efficient, less visible. We've been chasing shadows. But one question haunted me. Where did she learn all this? This wasn't just trial and error. Her skill with forged documents, digital sabotage, it was advanced, practiced. Ryan was the one who found it. Look at this, he said, pulling up an old article. 10 years ago, Seattle. Massive identity theft ring. The ringleader vanished. Never caught. They called her the Ghost. The description? Young Asian woman. Brilliant. Ruthless. Vanished without a trace. Think it's her? He asked. The timeline matched. The methods? Identical, just sharper. Cleaner. If he was right, David wasn't her creator. He was her apprentice. The FBI listened. Interested, but cautious. Until she's in custody, it's just a theory. But I knew the truth. She was still out there. And Sarah, bless her, found our next lead. Remember what she said on the phone? She whispered. She wasn't talking to a client. She was talking to a partner. David had promised something to someone. And if Victoria had one partner, who's to say there weren't others? People waiting in the wings for her to rebuild what we had just torn down. We handed everything over to the FBI. Every file, photo, timestamp, every spoken word. But I could tell. They were focused on the arrests they had made, the accomplices they could see. Victoria? She was a ghost again. And ghosts don't leave fingerprints. 2 weeks passed. Ryan got his job back. The nonprofit rehired me, apologizing through gritted teeth. Even the bank unfroze my accounts. On the surface, life looked normal again. But I kept looking over my shoulder. Because Victoria had made a promise. She'd call us. And people like her, they always keep their promises. Then, it came. A plain brown package on my doorstep. No return address. Just my name in clean block letters. Inside, one photograph. Me. Taken the day before at the grocery store. On the back, coordinates and a time. Tomorrow, 10 p.m. Come alone. Or Ryan's mother has an accident. Sarah snatched the photo from my hand. This is insane. We're calling the FBI. But I was already entering the coordinates. An abandoned factory on the edge of town. Of course she'd pick a place like that. She wants to end this, I whispered. Then let the FBI end her, Sarah said. You can't seriously be thinking about going. But I was. Ryan answered on the first ring. My mom's visiting my aunt in Phoenix. She left this morning. Did you tell anyone? Just posted it on Facebook. Why? My stomach dropped. Take that post down. Get her somewhere safe. Don't tell anyone, not even you. What's happening? I told him. Silence. Then, I'm going with you. No, she said alone. If you come, she'll call your mom. She might anyway. I can't take that risk. Sarah grabbed the phone. Nobody's going. We're telling the FBI and they'll take it from there. But I already knew. If law enforcement showed up too soon, Victoria would vanish again. And Ryan's mom? She'd be the price. That night, I didn't sleep. Sarah stayed on the couch, trying to talk me out of it. But my mind was made up. This had to end. I waited until she dozed off, then left a note. If something happened to me, at least someone would know the truth. The factory loomed like a tomb against the skyline. I parked outside the rusted fence. 3 other cars were already there. She hadn't come alone. I slipped through a gap in the fence, recording everything on my phone, uploading live to the cloud. Whatever happened, there'd be proof. Victoria stood in the center of the empty building, calm, elegant, surrounded by shadows in suits. Punctual, she said. I like that. Let's get this over with, she smiled. So eager to die. Most people at least try to bargain. Would it matter? No. She nodded to one of the men who placed a laptop on a folding table. But first, you're going to fix what you broke. Transfer every file, delete every copy, write a confession. Say you made it all up. And then what? You kill me anyway? Oh no, then we call you, she said with a wicked smile. A tragic end. Your friend Sarah leaves a note. The FBI closes your case. Life moves on. You gave me 48 hours to leave town. And you stayed. More movement. 2 more men entered through side doors. 5 total. Even if I'd brought backup, we'd be outnumbered. The FBI knows I'm here. I lied. They don't, she said flatly. You came alone, because you care. And because you're predictable. She checked her watch. And speaking of predictable, your friend's mother should be receiving visitors. Now. I pulled out my phone to call Ryan. No signal. A jammer. Sit, she ordered. A metal chair, the laptop waiting. I sat. Then I saw it. A red light blinking under the desk. A camera. They were recording this. You're not going to kill me, I said slowly. You're going to blackmail me. Use this confession. Turn me into one of your puppets. Her grin widened. Smart girl. Death is messy, wasteful. But you? With the right incentive, you could be very useful. No! Yes, she said, nodding to the man beside her. He handed her a folder. Inside, documents. All forged. My name signed, lease termination, resignation letters, a therapy intake form. You're going on vacation, she said. Too much stress. PTSD from recent events. You'll send emails, check in with the nonprofit, make it all look normal. You're going to make me build new identities. Rebuild the network. Of course, your testimony destroyed years of work. But now you'll help us plant new roots. Reach new victims. That's how this works. If you don't, Ryan's mother, I said softly, and Sarah, and that sweet nonprofit family you love so much. Shall I keep going? This was her model. Not bribes, not desperation, threats. She broke people by forcing them to protect the ones they loved. I'll never help you, I said. You will, she replied, because I've already made you disappear. My mind raced for a way out. There had to be something. That's when I saw it. Movement outside the factory windows. Shadows. Too many for Victoria's team. She followed my gaze. Her eyes narrowed. Check the perimeter, she ordered. One of her men moved toward the door. He didn't make it far. Boom! FBI, nobody move! The door exploded inward as agents flooded the factory from every direction. Victoria spun toward me, realizing too late. I dove sideways just as she drew a gun from her jacket. Crack! The shot missed. Agents returned fire. Victoria ducked behind a concrete pillar while her men scattered. Drop your weapons! One of the agents shouted. One of her bodyguards made a run for it, tackled to the floor. Another lunged for the laptop, trying to destroy it. I grabbed it first, holding on as we wrestled. It was everything. Names, finances, proof. Meanwhile, Victoria was slipping away, sprinting for the rear exit. But Ryan stepped out from behind a stack of crates, blocking her path. A tire iron gripped in his shaking hands. Going somewhere? Victoria didn't hesitate. She raised her gun, but Ryan struck first. The iron connected with her wrist, knocking the weapon loose. She screamed, grabbing her arm. Seconds later, agents swarmed her. Victoria Chen, you're under arrest for conspiracy, attempted murder, racketeering. The list went on. She didn't fight. She didn't beg. Just turned her gaze to me. Her expression shifted. Not rage, not fear, understanding. You were never alone, she said quietly. No, I answered. The FBI's been listening since the moment I left my apartment. Every word went straight to them. Sarah appeared behind me, phone in hand. Nice note, by the way. Really dramatic. Had me fooled. She tried to stay mad, but I saw the relief. I saw the live conference call you left open on your laptop, she added. You really thought you'd outsmart us? The lead agent approached, stern but impressed. That was incredibly dangerous. We almost didn't make it in time. But you did, I said. Only because your friend called the second you walked out. She figured out everything. I looked at Sarah. You know me too well. Damn right I do. And next time you decide to play hero, you tell us. Ryan stepped in, still clutching the tire iron. Is my mom okay? She's fine, the agent said. We had protection on all potential targets since yesterday. Of course they did. The FBI might move slowly sometimes, but they're not careless. Victoria's entire crew was in cuffs. Evidence was already being processed. The laptop, intact, held everything: financial ledgers, shipping manifests, fake IDs, victim lists, and communications across a dozen states. "This is bigger than we thought," one agent told us. "She didn't just inherit David's network, she expanded it. We're talking nationwide fraud, hundreds of victims." Over the next few hours, we gave our official statements. The recordings, Victoria's threats, her confessions, her recruitment pitch left nothing in question. Even as she tried to intimidate me, she'd walked herself straight into a case that would bury her. "Will it hold?" I asked one of the prosecutors reviewing the charges. "With what you gave us?" she said. "She'll never see daylight again. Multiple counts of attempted murder, conspiracy, identity theft, money laundering, federal and state-level charges stacked sky high." But something still gnawed at me. How had Victoria, so careful for so long, not seen this coming? Ryan had the answer. Arrogance. She ran this game for over a decade without getting caught. She thought she was untouchable. Sarah nodded. "And desperate. We dismantled her network. She needed to rebuild, and fast. Desperation makes people sloppy." In the weeks that followed, everything moved fast. Legal hearings, media coverage, restitution claims. Victoria tried to cut a deal, offering information about other criminal rings in exchange for leniency. The FBI wasn't interested. At trial, the full truth came out. The ghost identity confirmed. She'd been operating since college, 15 years of destruction. Dozens of Maria Santoses. Vanished, silenced, or too scared to come forward. She was sentenced to life without parole. As they led her away, she turned back one last time, not angry, just calculating. Even in defeat, she was scheming. But it was over. Her network, dismantled. Her assets, seized. Her reach, shattered. Her allies, arrested or on the run. And the victims' restitution fund grew with every dollar the FBI recovered. Ryan used his experience to help agents untangle the digital web she left behind, identifying methods, holes in systems, patterns no one else could see. He was no longer a pawn. He was a protector now. And so was I. The FBI offered Ryan a consultant role, advising on how to prevent future scams like Victoria's. He didn't hesitate. "I need to make up for what I helped build," he told me, even if I didn't realize it at the time. Sarah and I returned to the nonprofit, but everything had changed. We launched a new program, one dedicated to protecting the vulnerable from housing scams, offering education, resources, and real alternatives to predatory offers. One afternoon, a young man walked in. He'd just aged out of foster care, sleeping in his car, lost, trying to make things work. "I found this ad," he said, showing me his phone. "Think it's legit?" It was a familiar setup. Too familiar. Cheap rent, no lease, cash only, package handling, the same blueprint Victoria used. "They're already trying to fill the vacuum she left," I muttered, then turned to him with a smile. "Let me show you something better," I said, pulling up our list of verified housing partners. "And while we're at it, let me tell you a story." He listened, really listened, as I explained what could have happened if he had responded to that ad. By the end, he was shaking his head. "I almost fell for it." "Almost doesn't count," I said. "You asked for help. That's what matters." After he left, paperwork in hand and a real application started, I found myself staring at the Craigslist post. "You're not thinking of tracking them down, are you?" Sarah asked, raising an eyebrow. "Already sent it to my contact," I said. "This one's theirs now." I had learned, surviving isn't enough. You have to break the cycle. People like David and Victoria exist because desperation creates openings. The only way to stop predators is to remove what feeds them. 6 months after Victoria's arrest, I received a letter. No return address, but the handwriting was unmistakable. "David Park, you think you won," it read. "But there are hundreds like us. Thousands. You saved a few. We'll find millions." I handed the letter to the FBI. They filed it under continued criminal intent, a nail in the coffin for any future parole hearing. But the words stuck with me. He wasn't wrong. Predators will always exist. And that's exactly why our work matters. Every person we helped find safe housing, every suspicious ad we flagged, every community outreach event, each one made someone harder to exploit. A year later, I was invited to speak at a housing justice conference. In the crowd, I spotted someone I never thought I'd see again. The woman who came to my door that first week, terrified about her son. After my talk, she came over. "My son's doing better," she said. "Finished parole, got a job. He volunteers now, helps others avoid what almost happened to him. If you hadn't gone to the FBI, I stopped her. "I'm just glad he's okay." Another life salvaged. Another survivor turning experience into purpose. That night, Ryan called. "We shut another one down," he said. "Seattle. Same model, smaller scale. We stopped them before they got far." "That's incredible. It's because of you. Because of your case. We know the signs now. We know what to look for." The ripple was spreading. Other cities adopted similar initiatives. Laws were updated. Awareness campaigns launched. Was it perfect? No, but it was better. People still got targeted, but fewer, and more knew how to fight back. Sarah and I stayed roommates for a while. After everything we'd been through, neither of us was quite ready to live alone. Eventually, though, we each moved into our own places, signed real leases, with real landlords, no package duties. "Shockingly," Sarah joked as I unpacked, "the only mail I get now is actual bills." "Normal's not so bad," I said. "Normal's safe. Sometimes I still check Craigslist. I still report sketchy ads. And yeah, my heart still skips a beat when an unexpected package shows up. Some scars don't fade, but I'm not hiding anymore, not afraid." David was wrong. This was never about winning. It was about surviving, healing, and making sure others never have to go through what we did. Every scam we shut down, every voice we empower, every trap we expose, that's the real victory. My phone buzzed. Another message. A teen in need of housing support. Another potential victim saved. Another story that won't end in silence. I smiled and got back to work.